Hey, welcome everybody. It's Phil Grigsby here, and we're just going to dive right into this. It's more of a severe weather briefing rather than weekly weather briefing, but I am going to talk about the threat for next week as well. So we'll dive into it right now. Okay, so the situation overview that we're seeing here, we have a slight to enhanced risk of severe storms tonight into tomorrow morning. And that's really going to be late tonight, say after about 2 a.m. Through about 10 to 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're going to see all threats from these severe storms. It's looking like a really good setup. Tornadoes, and there is a concern that some could possibly be significant tonight into tomorrow morning. Damaging winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. And some large hail. We actually do have some favorable conditions for that as well. So we could get some hail up over an inch in diameter, maybe up to an inch and a half in diameter, with any severe storms that form during that time frame. As far as the weekly part, the weekend looks fantastic for Saturday, Sunday, even into Monday. But then we have another risk of severe storms that's going to pop up potentially as early as Monday night. And then we could have a couple of rounds actually go through, maybe one Monday night and then another that goes through late Tuesday into Tuesday night. Once that gets through, it looks like the middle of next week, Wednesday into Thursday, and even beyond that, honestly, the way it looks right now should be fairly pleasant. All right, so here's the threat levels that we're seeing for this event. This is going to be for the event tonight into tomorrow morning. We have a lower end, say a slight risk of seeing some damaging winds and hail, but I did bump up the tornado threat to a moderate risk. I'm really concerned about the threat of tornadoes developing tonight across portions of the area, and the concern is that some of these could be what we call significant tornadoes, where they're EF2 plus, and they could be long track. So that's something that we're investigating right now, and our concerns are growing as the day continues on. Basically, it's looking more and more favorable for that. Flash flooding, I put minimal. You'll see that we are outlook marginal risk, but honestly, we've been so dry recently, even with the recent rain we had. It's going to take a lot to do like real flash flooding. At most, we might have some ponding of water on some low-lying streets and areas that don't drain too well, but nothing that's going to be a significant impact in that aspect. It's going to be the severe threat that's the main concern. And our forecast confidence is pretty high. I put level 7 out of 10, and I was tempted to even go 8 out of 10, but at this point, just because we're trying to still pinpoint exactly where we think the significant tornado threat is going to be, that the confidence is about a 7 instead of an 8. So here's the severe weather outlook for today, and honestly, this is really for tonight, and it's going to be after midnight. We will see tornadoes, damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, and large hail. The entire forecast area, all of southeast Louisiana and all of southern Mississippi, does have the potential for severe storms tonight. And like I mentioned earlier, the storms are going to be most likely after midnight, and especially after 2 a.m. So then this is really just a continuation of that same threat for tomorrow. It's just how, the apple falls from the tree there with SPC, and they have a 7 a.m. cutoff time from day 1 to day 2. But this is all still the same threat. They did include an enhanced risk for Jackson County. And honestly, we've been discussing this with our local offices around us, and that seems too conservative. So I would say, you see that as only slight risk, say for the North Shore regions, like from Hammond over through Slidell and Biloxi. If I had control, I would have pushed that up to enhanced risk. I'm really concerned about the threat of significant tornadoes potentially impacting portions of the I-12 corridor from, say, I-55 eastward. That would include St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, Washington, Pearl River, and all of coastal Mississippi. And that may even drop down into Metro New Orleans, although the profile doesn't look quite as good there. It's all going to depend on how far inland this warm front gets. And right now, it looks like the warm front's going to stall basically right along the I-12 and I-10 corridor. So New Orleans may not be in the best location, but we can't rule out the threat of a strong tornado potentially impacting Metro New Orleans and the river parishes as well. Further south towards the coast, it looks like down there the tornado threat may be a little lower, but the damaging wind threat may be a little higher. for you guys down there. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on as well. It's more going to be a damaging wind concern for Macomb and hail concern for areas up around Macomb and over towards Baton Rouge late tonight into tomorrow. The tornado threat, it doesn't look like the warm front's going to get quite up as far north there. So it's a little lower risk of seeing tornadoes develop in those areas, but it's something we'll have to keep an eye on. Obviously, you know, the weather isn't 100% accurate in terms of forecasts all the time, and if the warm front gets a little bit further north, then we may have to include Baton Rouge. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now as far as the threat for tonight. Just plan on this maybe being upgraded as we get into the evening. It's something that SPC is still looking at. They didn't go enhanced this time, but they almost pulled the trigger for portions of our area to go a little further west, but they didn't this time. And again, the storms tomorrow are most likely to occur before noon. It really looks like everything should be ending probably in the 10 to 11 o'clock time frame. And then everything will start to push offshore and push more into lower Alabama and the Florida panhandle. So just plan on an active night, basically from about 2 a.m. to about 10 a.m. That's going to be our main window of concern. So here's the tornado risk as well. This just kind of covers exactly what I was talking about before, but reinforces it. You can see that there is a hatched area in Jackson County for the potential for significant tornadoes. That's EF2 plus. And like I was saying, we are thinking that that could actually be extended westward, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is in further updates this evening to include at least all of coastal Mississippi, you know, all areas east of the Pearl River. But honestly, I would even go towards all areas east of I-55 for that threat. And this is only covering basically tomorrow morning, say 6 to 7 a.m. through noon. But that threat could even start up as early as like say 4 a.m. if you're over in St. Tammany and Tangipahoa Parish. So just keep that in mind, that significant tornado risk could be a little further west than what this graphic is showing at this time. As far as the timing for severe storms tonight into tomorrow, this is what we're looking at. You can see I went ahead and went with 3 regions. The first region is going to be basically Baton Rouge metropolitan area and points west towards the Atchafalaya Basin. And we're looking at severe storms most likely to occur in the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. time frame over that area. There's some of the short-term model guidance that I've been looking at has indicated that we could see stuff moving into say like Point Capee Parish, portions of Iberville Parish as early as 2 a.m. Metro Baton Rouge, the areas up in Wilkinson County and western portions of Emmett County is probably going to be more in the 3 to 4 a.m. time frame, maybe even as late as 5 o'clock. And then down towards Assumption Parish and maybe parts of southern Iberville, southern Ascension Parish, like over towards Donaldsonville, is probably actually going to be even a little later, like closer to the 5 to 6 a.m. window there. So that's what we're looking at as far as timing in that region. The second area that I highlighted is basically the I-55 corridor, and that includes metropolitan New Orleans and the Bayou region down there, Houma, Thibodaux, Galliana, up through Southwest Mississippi as well, around Macomb. And obviously the timing is going to be a little bit later, as early as 4 a.m., 4 to 5 a.m. time frame. They're along and west of the I-55 corridor, say from Macomb down through Hammond, Laplace, and then down into the Houma area, maybe a little delayed, more like 5 to 6. We're thinking that New Orleans proper and the North Shore areas around Covington up through Franklinton and Bogalusa is going to be more in the 6 to 7 a.m. time frame that we're going to see the potential. It could linger as long as 8 all the way down towards the Port Fourchon Grand Isle area. But that's kind of the timing that we're looking at. So right around school bus pickup time, right around rush hour. Unfortunately, we're expecting the worst of the weather to be moving through the New Orleans metropolitan area. As far as the coastal Mississippi goes, say areas around Slidell, up through Picayune, Poplarville, and then some of the far eastern portions of like St. Bernard Parish and far eastern Orleans Parish. The timing is going to be most likely in the 6, 7, maybe 8 o'clock time frame. And then as we get into 8 to 10 time frame, that's when we're really going to see the impacts happen there in the Gulfport, Biloxi area, and into Pascagoula area as well. Say closer to 8 o'clock for Gulfport and closer to 9 to 10 o'clock for Pascagoula. Bay St. Louis is going to be somewhere between 7 to 8 o'clock-ish as well. And then down towards Boothville, they'll actually be the last ones. They may not actually clear out all the way until maybe closer to 11 o'clock or noon at the tail end there. So that's kind of the timing that we're expecting for everybody. So just kind of take that into account. We kind of gave broader 4-hour windows, but the main threat is probably going to be more in the 2 to 3 hour time frame. As this does look like it's going to be more of a convective band that goes through, as opposed to a series of storms developing over the same area over an extended period of time. So that kind of gives you an idea of what to expect there. Now we're just going to kind of brush through this because honestly, I don't think there's going to be much of a concern with this, given that we're still in drought condition across most of the area. But there was an excessive rainfall outlook that was produced by the Weather Prediction Center in DC. They gave us a marginal risk of excessive rainfall. If we get anything, it's just going to be minor ponding of water on roads and low-lying and poorly drained areas, very similar to what we saw on Tuesday morning in some areas. We could get a quick 1 to 2 inches of rain as the line of severe thunderstorms moves through. The main area of concern is in southwest Mississippi and portions of southeast Louisiana, basically along the north of I-12. And the heaviest rain threat is generally going to be between midnight and 6 a.m. for the area that's highlighted in green. All right, so now we're going to jump ahead. The weekend, like I said, looks fantastic. We won't have any weather concerns on Saturday, Sunday, or even really into Monday during the day itself. But then we get into, say, Monday night, like maybe even early as late Monday night through Tuesday and into Tuesday night. And we may have a couple of rounds of severe weather. It's really too early to determine the exact timing of the severe threat on that day. We're pretty far out still. And we'll keep you guys updated, obviously, through the weekend. The day 2, day 3 outlooks will start to come out during that time frame, and we'll let you guys know what we're looking at, and we'll have a better idea of exactly how everything's going to evolve. But in any event, there is a slight risk of severe storms during that time frame for the entire region. And at this point in time, based off some of the information that I've looked at, I would say that all threats are possible with any severe storms that form. That would be tornadoes, damaging wind gusts, and hail. So we may be repeating what we're seeing tonight again as we get into Tuesday, and it may be more than one round with that. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. Just be prepared mentally that we'll have a few days break, and then we'll be going through this again. So that's it as far as the summary. Slight to enhanced risk of severe storms tonight and tomorrow morning. We may have some possibly significant tornadoes occur, maybe even long trackers. Let's keep an eye on that. Damaging winds and hail, obviously, as well. They're all going to be possible tonight into tomorrow. Pleasant for the weekend. And then that next round of severe weather looks like it's going to come in Monday night through Tuesday night. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And then once that gets through, it looks like as we get into the middle of next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and even beyond that, it looks like even into the weekend, we should have pleasant weather conditions in place. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions. I think I never unmuted everybody. I think y'all are still, never muted you guys, so I think you're still unmuted. You might have to unmute yourselves, but ask away. Okay, there we go. Maybe I didn't mute you. All right, now you can ask away. Sorry about that. I got this one here. Somebody's asking about when do you expect to be out of Wilkinson County? I expect it to be out of Wilkinson County likely by 8 a.m. I think that all of your threat will be over by that time. All right, anybody else have any questions? Or hopefully my briefing was so good that there are none. Okay, Well, I'm not hearing anything. Obviously, if you guys do have any questions that come up, feel free to call us or send us an email or hit us up in NWS chat. And obviously, when the weather is happening, we'll keep you guys apprised. And please send us any reports that you get in of any damage or anything like that. And obviously, if there are any tornadoes that occur, we'll be coordinating with you guys as far as storm surveys go, possibly as early as tomorrow afternoon and into Saturday. So stay safe tonight. Get the word out to everybody, and we will talk to you again next week on Thursday, or before that, probably on Monday in advance of the next system. So have a good one, everybody. Bye.